let's assume you have a heart of service and that you do have a ministry that is burgeoning inside of you, just waiting to burst out and be expressed. Well, that begins a whole different conversation as to what that looks like and how to do that in an empowered way and have the impact that you believe and know that you were designed to have. You want to be of service, especially of service to something greater, then of course you want impact. That's not necessarily ego talking. Some of you it is. Either way, when we're willing to pour ourselves out into something, we want to make sure that that something is an authentic expression of who we are. And that's where ministry comes in. But if you've gotten through the steps of discernment to figure out, okay, genuine experience, okay, I'm supposed to do something with this, okay, I'm supposed to be in this role as this character in it, okay, and it's supposed to be done at the scale of a ministry, great, awesome, but there's still more. Sorry guys, great, we've got that far. But to step into ministry, there is a whole different thing about like what your job title is, what your embodiment is. And so again, we tease that out into different layers. It is a fun exercise to do to figure out which one you are and to figure out, great, I have this awesome divine purpose, I'm made for this thing, and off we go into the world unleashed, here I am. But you can show up in the right role as the right character, but if you show up in the wrong way, then you will be of service to no one. You will have no impact, and everything that you do will just fall flat and deflate and be very discouraging. And so how do we avoid doing that? By figuring out which embodiment you are, what type of minister you are. And so as ministers, we can be one of 4 types. You can be a healer. And a healer is designed to help heal people, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever level that is. Healers help people get right with God. They provide an alchemical energy, they provide a service to bring things back on track, and they provide an adjustment. So healers are a very important thing to have in this world. And it is a very important service. And especially if you are empathic or sensitive, you want to see yourself as a healer usually, because you want to heal people, you want to be of service, you want people to not hurt. But being a healer is a very specific calling. And if you are in fact not a healer, but you have a prayer that healing should happen in this world, you need to recognize that that is not your job. And if you're pouring yourself out in trying to heal people, all you were doing is depleting. Because if you were not designed to be a healer, then you were not designed with the resource of energy to do that healing. So with every theme, with every embodiment, there is a warning. If you're not a healer, what might you be? There's also the teacher. And the teacher is the one who leads the way. They provide the information. They are the ones who give you the step-by-step instructions. They tend to be innovators. And if they're not innovators, they are synergizers. They can be really good at bringing information together. But if you were not designed to be a teacher, then you stand up and speak. You are speaking out of self-importance. And the ego that is allowing you to do that will trip you up. And it will also be a filter through which your audience cannot navigate. And so as a teacher, it is a really important role to provide the information and to help bridge the gap between the old and the new and help the world find its way. But if you weren't designed to be a teacher, then you're of service to no one trying to be one. As a guide, you are designed to come into the story and help people get from point A to point B. You may not be the origin of the information, you may not have the power of a healer or the authority of a teacher, but You have a heart for helping people get from point A to point B. You know how to do the nitty-gritty. You're just not the one who came up with the plan. Or maybe you are the one who came up with the plan, the route, the pathway through it, but you're helping people deal with their stuff. You're helping use other people's information and your participants' information, and you can tie everything together and get it through from point A to point B. And so as a guide, you will help bring people along a pathway that you take them on a journey. But if you are not a guide and you're trying to help someone through a journey, they tend to be really resistant to your advice because you may come up with a brilliant plan, but you aren't designed with the nuance to really take into consideration that other person's needs or preferences in what that pathway looks like. And so as a guide, you have this innate knowing of what that other person needs. So if you're a guide and you're trying to do healing or teaching, you're not really helping anyone because you're trying to bite off more than you can chew. You're trying to provide something that it really isn't your thing. But if you are a guide and you're not guiding people, then you're not nourished by any of the interactions you're having. As a facilitator, you thrive in an environment where you can get down deep and involved with other people. You want to help them through the journey. You want to witness every stage of it, and you love that co-creative aspect and energy that happens when someone is actually going through their process. And as a facilitator, you love the process of it, and you love getting deep down and getting your hands dirty and really getting in there with people. In fact, you love it so much that if someone takes your advice, takes your guidance, takes your teachings, takes your healing, and then runs with it on their own, you feel left out of the story. Because the whole thing for you is the engagement of it and going through it with them. And so if you don't get to do that part, it doesn't matter if you provided the right information or were working with the right client, you were robbed of the part that made it all worth it for you. So when we look at the 4 different types of ministers, we start to get a very basic understanding of how each one of those has a very important role in the evolution of humanity and in personal evolution journeys, personal growth journeys. But you're really designed to be one of those. And throughout your life, you may try and be the different ones, but you'll find that it just isn't the most empowered version of it. You may feel like you're not being nourished, you're not being fed by your experiences, you're being depleted, or you're just not having the impact that you're designed to have. You may be saying the right thing and doing the right thing, but to the wrong people. And so there's a whole different level to the conversation when we look at what's your demographic. If you're talking to the wrong people, you're not helping anyone. And so knowing which type of minister you are, then you know what point in people's story you're actually meant to be helping in. And you also know, you can start to figure out what your demographic is. And when you speak to the right demographic, then you really do have impact. And you really get to see what you were designed to do and who you were designed to be. Human beings reveal ourselves by accident. We kind of betray ourselves by revealing all of our secrets before we realize that it was a secret. And so it is through the co-creative journey with people in their healing, in their growth, in their development. That's when a minister, that's when someone who's of service really gets to find out who they are. It's because who you are has a place to show up. It has a place to be seen. It has a place to be revealed. And when that happens, not only do you get to find out who you are, but so do they. And that is one of the most beautiful points in the story. And I know most of the people here, especially if you've made it this far in this lecture, it's because you want to be of service. If you're trying to figure out what that looks like, then this is about as far as we can take this conversation right now. But we do have other ways of supporting you, other programs, other resources to help you get into the depths of finding out who you are and what you were made to do. For more on this topic and other content that's like it, like, subscribe, follow, and then head over to our homepage at strixrun.com or our content page to see other programs with content like this and also that's nothing like this. All right, follow us over and I'll see you there.